The encounter in the ruins, the night was cold and silent, broken only by the sound of distant thunder. The human soldier moved carefully through the ruins, his boots crushing broken stone under his weight. His uniform was torn, his face was dirty, and his eyes were sharp. He had been running for hours, chased by shadows of war, chased by memories of screams. His squad was gone. His weapon was almost empty, and his strength was fading. The ruins stretched around him like a dead city, broken walls and shattered towers. Once proud but now silent graves, he stopped near a fallen pillar. Listening, every sound felt like danger, every shadow like a threat. The war between humans and aliens had turned this world into a graveyard, and yet here he was, still alive. Though he wondered for how long, then he heard it, a faint sound. Softer than the wind, it was not the crack of stone, not the whistle of wind, it was a voice, a whisper. Weak but steady, he froze, his hand gripping his weapon tight. "Help," the voice said. He turned, moving slowly. His eyes searched the rubble, and there she was, an alien warrior, her body pinned under heavy stone. Her armor was cracked, glowing faintly with strange blue veins of energy. Her face was proud but pale, her breath heavy, her eyes opened slowly. And they met his. For a moment time stopped. He had been trained to fear her kind, to hate them, to kill without hesitation. Yet here she was, wounded and helpless. And here he was, staring back at her. She whispered again, her voice trembling but firm, "Look at me, human." The soldier hesitated, his heart beat fast. He had a choice. He could leave her. She was the enemy. She was dangerous, even wounded. She could strike him down if he made a mistake. But something in her eyes, something deep and sharp, held him in place. He put his weapon aside and stepped closer. He pushed the broken stones off her with slow, careful strength. The alien warrior groaned but did not look away. Her eyes stayed fixed on him, sharp and unyielding. When she was free, she tried to stand but stumbled. The soldier caught her, his arm holding her steady. Her armor was broken, straps loose, metal plates bent out of shape. He knelt beside her and reached for the straps. Trying to fix them, his hands worked carefully, tightening the belt that held her chest plate. Again she whispered, softer this time, "Look at me." "Human." He raised his eyes. Their faces were close now. He saw the faint scars on her cheek, the strange glow of her alien eyes, the way her lips trembled as if she was both proud and ashamed at once. He did not speak, but he did not look away. For the first time, the human soldier felt something he could not name. It was not fear, not hate, it was not duty or survival. It was something different, something that made him stay even when logic told him to leave. The ruins around them were silent. The war outside raged on, but here, in this broken corner of a dead world, there was only him and her, two enemies locked together by fate. She breathed heavily, pain clear in her voice, but she still tried to stand straight. She was proud, even broken. She touched the edge of her armor, as if embarrassed that he had seen her weakness. Yet she did not stop him. She let him help. When he finished adjusting the belt, he leaned back. His weapon was near, but his mind felt far away. He wanted to ask her questions. Why was she here? Why was she alone? Why did she tell him to look at her? But words did not come, only silence, heavy and full. The alien warrior finally spoke again. "You could have left me," she said, her voice low. "Why didn't you?" The soldier looked at her, his mouth opened, but he had no answer. All he could say in a quiet voice was, "I don't know." Her eyes narrowed, but not with anger. Instead, it was curiosity, maybe even something close to respect. She studied him for a long moment, then nodded slowly. "Then we are both fools," she whispered, "you for helping me, and me for trusting you." The soldier almost smiled, almost, but the sound of distant engines cut the moment short. The war was not far, the night was not safe. He looked at her and she looked at him, and in that instant both knew their paths had changed. The ruins would no longer be silent, the world would no longer be the same. And it all began with her whisper, "Look at me." Human, a fragile alliance. The ruins stretched for miles, silent and endless. The human soldier and the alien warrior walked side by side, though neither truly trusted the other. His steps were steady but cautious, her movements were slow, her wounds making every step harder, yet she refused to ask for help. Pride burning in her eyes, the soldier glanced at her. He could see the pain she tried to hide. He had seen that same look before on his own comrades, men who would rather break than admit weakness. She stumbled once, almost falling, but caught herself quickly. her hand gripping the broken wall. "You should rest," he said quietly. She turned her head sharply, her alien eyes glowing faintly in the dark. "Do not speak to me as if I am weak." "Human," she replied, her voice sharp like a blade. He said nothing, only nodded, but he slowed his pace, walking just behind her, ready to catch her if she fell again. He told himself it was practical. If she died, his chance of survival might vanish too. Yet deep inside he knew it was more than survival. The air around them was heavy, filled with the scent of ash and metal. In the distance, faint lights flashed, signs of the battle still raging. The war was not done, it would never be done. But here in these ruins there was an uneasy pause. As they reached a half-collapsed hall, the warrior stopped. She leaned against the stone. Breathing hard, the soldier looked around, checking for danger, but the silence was thick. "We can stay here for a while," he said. "The walls will hide us." She looked at him, suspicion in her eyes. "You speak as if we are allies," she whispered. He met her gaze. "Right now we are, for a long moment." She did not answer. Finally, she lowered herself against the wall. Her armor clinking softly, the soldier sat opposite her. Laying his weapon across his lap, neither spoke. The silence between them was loud, filled with unspoken thoughts. Her hand moved slowly to the side of her chest plate. She pulled at the straps, wincing. The armor was broken. Tight against her wound, she tried again, but her fingers trembled. The soldier watched, his jaw tight. Then he reached forward without asking. She hissed, her hand flashing toward his wrist, but stopped just before striking. His eyes did not flinch. He only said, "Let me help." For a moment they stared at each other. Then she released his wrist slowly, her eyes still sharp. "Do not betray me, human," she said, her voice low. He nodded. His hands worked carefully, loosening the strap, adjusting the plates. His touch was steady. He had repaired armor before, but never alien armor. The material felt strange, warm as if alive. The moment felt strange too, as if the air itself was watching. When the belt was fixed, she exhaled slowly, her eyes closing for just a second. Relief flickered across her face, but it vanished quickly, replaced by her usual stern mask. Again, in a voice softer than before, she whispered, "Look at me." Human, he lifted his eyes, meeting hers. Her alien gaze seemed endless, filled with pain and pride, but also something else, something he could not understand. For a moment he forgot the war, forgot the ruins, forgot everything but her eyes. She leaned back, studying him. "You are strange," she said. "Your kind are killers, yet you fix armor. You should have left me to die, yet you carry me forward. Why?" He shook his head. "I don't know," she gave a small laugh, sharp and bitter. "Neither do I." The soldier looked away, but her words stayed in his mind. He thought of his squad, of the orders he had failed to follow, of the blood on his hands. Maybe helping her was madness. Maybe it was weakness, but as he glanced back at her, watching the faint rise and fall of her chest, he could not regret it. The night grew colder. The wind howled through the ruins. They stayed hidden inside the broken hall, sharing silence. At one point she dozed, her head falling slightly to the side. The soldier kept watch, eyes sharp, weapon ready, but he found himself looking at her more than the shadows. When she stirred again, her voice was quiet, almost reluctant. "Human," she said, "if danger comes, you run. Do not waste your life for me." He frowned, shaking his head. "That's not how it works." She narrowed her eyes. "You are bound by honor." He looked at her, his voice calm but firm. "No, I'm bound by choice." She stared at him for a long moment, then turned away, her expression unreadable. Yet deep inside something shifted. The ruins were still broken, the war still raged outside, and danger still lurked, but for the first time, there was a fragile alliance. Fragile but real. It was not trust, not yet, but it was something, and in that quiet, both the human and the alien warrior knew their journey together had only just begun. The unspoken bond. The night dragged on, the ruins cold and silent. The soldier sat against the wall with his weapon across his lap, his eyes scanning the shadows. The alien warrior rested nearby, her breathing slow but heavy. She was not asleep, not fully. He could tell by the way her fingers still twitched near the hilt of her blade. Hours passed, yet neither spoke. The silence between them grew heavy. Thick like fog, the soldier shifted. His back aching, his mind wandered, replaying the battles he had fought, the comrades he had lost. He closed his eyes for a moment, only to open them again when he heard her voice. You watch the dark as if it will answer you, she whispered. Her voice soft. He turned his head, surprised she had spoken. The dark has taken enough from me, he said quietly. I don't trust it. She studied him, her glowing eyes reflecting faint light. You are afraid? He shook his head slowly. Not afraid, he answered. Careful, she gave a short, bitter laugh. There is no difference, the soldier did not argue. Instead, he leaned forward, checking the straps on his weapon. His hands moved automatically, but his mind stayed with her words. Fear and caution, maybe she was right. Maybe he was both. The alien warrior shifted, the broken plates of her armor scraping against stone. She winced slightly, hiding it behind a sharp breath. The soldier noticed. You should let me fix the rest of your armor, he said. It might protect you if we're attacked. She narrowed her eyes. You enjoy touching what belongs to my kind. Human. He froze, unsure if it was a threat or a jest, but then she tilted her head, her expression unreadable. Very well, she whispered. He moved closer, kneeling beside her. His fingers worked at the broken straps, tightening, adjusting, bending the cracked plates back into shape. The work was slow, careful, her eyes never left him. When he finished, she leaned closer, her voice almost a breath. Look at me, human. He lifted his gaze, meeting her eyes again. This time something was different. The command in her voice was softer, almost vulnerable. The glow in her eyes seemed less like fire, more like light trapped behind glass. Why do you say that? He asked quietly. She hesitated, as if choosing her words. Because your kind look away from mine. You see monsters, not faces. You see war. Not souls, but you. You look and you do not turn away. The soldier's chest tightened. He did not know how to answer. He had never thought of aliens as anything but enemies. But now, sitting in the ruins, fixing her armor, he realized she was more than the stories told by his commanders. She was wounded, proud, fierce, and strange, but she was alive, and she was watching him just as closely. He leaned back, his hands resting on his knees. Maybe I don't look away because I see the same thing I see in myself, he said. Her eyes flickered, a strange softness passing over them. For a brief moment, her guard slipped. She looked almost human in her silence. The night wore on and the cold deepened. The soldier pulled a thin survival blanket from his pack. He wrapped it around his shoulders. But when he saw her shiver, he hesitated. Slowly, he extended part of it toward her. Her eyes narrowed again. Do you think I need your pity? She asked. Her tone sharp. It's not pity, he said simply. It's survival. We're both freezing, share it or not. Your choice. For a long moment. She stared at him. Then without a word, she shifted closer, pulling part of the blanket across her shoulders. Their arms brushed, their armor clinking softly. The silence returned, but it was different now, less heavy, more alive. The soldier felt the strange warmth of her presence. He told himself it was nothing, just heat, just survival. But his heart beat faster, and when she leaned slightly toward him, resting against the wall, he did not move away. Her voice came again, low, almost like a secret. Human, she whispered. Your kind fight for land, for power, for victory. What do you fight for? He looked into the darkness, his jaw tight. I fight for the ones I lost, he answered. For the ones I couldn't protect. She was quiet for a long time. Then she whispered, So do I. The words hung between them. Soft but heavy for the first time, they shared something unspoken, something deeper than survival. The ruins around them were still broken. The war still raged beyond the horizon, but here, in the shadows, two enemies sat together, bound not by orders, but by silence, pain, and something new. And when her head tilted just slightly toward his shoulder, when her whisper came again, Look at me, human. He did not look away. The hunter becomes the hunted. The first light of dawn crawled across the ruins. Painting broken walls in pale colors, the soldier had not slept. His eyes stayed sharp, scanning the shadows. The alien warrior stirred beside him. Her wounds stiff but healing slowly, she sat upright. Her gaze meeting his for a brief moment, neither spoke. Yet something unspoken lingered from the night before. The silence broke when a sharp sound echoed through the ruins. A faint click, metal against stone. The soldier stiffened instantly. His hand went to his weapon. The alien warrior's eyes narrowed, her instinct sharp as a blade. They both knew the sound. It was not nature, not the wind, it was hunters. The soldier motioned for silence. Together they crouched low behind a wall. Through the cracks, shapes moved in the distance. Dark figures weaving through the rubble. Scouts armed and searching, the enemy was here. The alien warrior's breath quickened, she whispered. They are not mine. Her eyes hardened. They hunt me as much as they hunt you. The soldier gave a single nod. Their fates were bound tighter than ever. The figures drew closer, their alien weapons glowing faintly. The soldier counted 3, then 5, maybe more, their steps careful, their eyes scanning every shadow. The soldier felt his pulse quicken. His weapon was ready, but the odds were heavy. He glanced at the warrior. Her hand rested on her blade. Her jaw set, she was ready to fight. The first scout stepped too close. His eyes swept the wall where they hid. For a breath, the soldier thought it was over. Then the warrior moved, swift as lightning. Her blade flashed, striking the scout before he could cry out. His body fell silent against the stone. But the silence did not last. Another scout shouted, weapons raised, energy bolts ripped through the ruins. Stone shattered, dust filled the air. The soldier returned fire. His rifle barking in the echo of war, he moved fast. Pulling the warrior down as another blast scorched the wall above them. They fought back to back, her blade cutting through shadows, his rifle spitting fire. The ruins became alive with chaos. Dust screams, the sound of metal and blood. The soldier's breath came heavy. He turned, firing at a scout that tried to flank them. The warrior spun, striking another before his weapon charged. For a moment they moved as one. Enemies turned partners, their bodies reacting faster than thought. But the numbers pressed hard. More shadows closed in. Their survival hung by threads. The soldier's weapon clicked empty. He cursed under his breath, pulling his knife instead. He charged forward, striking one down, but another knocked him hard to the ground. The alien warrior saw it. She roared, her blade cutting deep into the enemy. She pulled the soldier back to his feet, her hand gripping his arm tight, her voice sharp. Do not fall now, human. Blood dripped from his cheek, dust burned in his lungs. But he stood, his knife ready, her blade raised. Together they fought, step by step. Refusing to fall, at last the last scout stumbled. The warrior's blade piercing through his chest. Silence returned, broken only by their heavy breaths. The ruins smelled of dust and blood. The soldier leaned against a wall, his chest heaving. The warrior dropped to one knee. Gripping her side, he knelt beside her. Reaching for her wound, she hissed, trying to push him away. But he held firm, his voice steady. Stop fighting me. Let me help. Her eyes burned into his. But slowly she let her hand drop. He tore a strip from his uniform, pressing it against the bleeding cut. She flinched but did not move. When he tied the cloth tight, her eyes softened. Her voice was low, weak but steady. Look at me. Human. He raised his head, meeting her gaze. Her alien eyes glowed faintly, filled with exhaustion but also something more, something fierce and alive. You fought for me, she whispered. Why? He swallowed, his breath rough. Because I wanted to for a long moment. She was silent. Then she reached out, her fingers brushing his hand. It was not a command, not pride, but something fragile. Then perhaps, she whispered, we are no longer enemies. The soldier said nothing. But in his silence, the truth was clear. They were hunted. They were broken. But together they had survived. The ruins around them still trembled with echoes of war. The sun rose higher, lighting the broken world. And yet, in that small space between stone and dust, a bond unspoken grew stronger. The confession in the dark. The ruins grew quiet after the battle. Only the wind moved between broken walls. The soldier and the alien warrior found shelter inside what once was a chamber, half collapsed and hidden by stone. They were both bleeding, both exhausted but alive. The soldier lit a small fire from scraps of wood. The flames weak but enough to chase away the cold. The alien warrior sat across from him. Her armor cracked, her blade resting by her side. Her breathing was shallow, every rise and fall of her chest a reminder of the fight. Yet her eyes stayed sharp, glowing faintly as if the fire itself lived inside them. The soldier watched her silently, his own body aching from bruises. His uniform was torn, his hands scratched and burned, but none of it mattered. What mattered was the way she sat in front of him, alive, watching him as if he was more than an enemy. For a long time neither spoke. The fire crackled softly, filling the silence. Then she broke it, her voice low. You could have left me behind, she said. When the scouts came, you had the chance. He leaned forward, his elbows on his knees, his eyes on the fire. I didn't think about it, he said. Her gaze sharpened. You thought of nothing. Humans do not risk their lives without reason. Tell me the reason. He looked at her, his face calm but his heart unsteady. Because I didn't want to see you die. The words hung in the air. Heavy and raw, the warrior blinked slowly. Her lips parted as if to argue, but no words came. Instead, she lowered her eyes, a rare break in her proud mask. The soldier reached for his pack, pulling free a small flask. He slid it across the ground toward her. She stared at it for a moment before picking it up. Drinking slowly, the water ran down her throat, and for the first time, her expression softened when she handed it back. Her voice was quieter, almost reluctant. Human, she whispered. Why do your eyes stay on me? Every time you touch my armor, every time you look into my face, you do not look away. Why? He held her gaze. His answer came slowly, honestly. Because you remind me of myself, she frowned. Confused. I am nothing like you. Yes, you are, he said. You fight because you have to. You hide your pain. You keep standing even when you want to fall. That is me too. Her breath caught. Her hand rose slightly, touching the scar on her cheek. Her voice trembled but did not break. You should hate me, she whispered. You should hate my kind. You should hate me for every life we have taken from yours. I don't, he said simply. She looked at him, truly looked. Her eyes shimmered with firelight. For the first time, she seemed less like a warrior and more like something fragile, something human. She leaned forward slightly, her voice softer, almost breaking. Look at me, human, she whispered. He raised his eyes, and in that moment, he saw her not as an enemy, not as a warrior, but as a soul caught in the same endless war as his own. Their gazes locked, and the fire between them felt warmer, brighter. Silence stretched again, but it was different now. It was no longer heavy, it was alive. The soldier shifted closer, instinct guiding him. His hand brushed against hers on the stone. She did not pull away. Her fingers curled slightly, touching his. The alien warrior's lips trembled, her voice barely above a breath. I do not understand this, she whispered. This feeling, it is forbidden, it is dangerous. Yet I cannot stop it, he swallowed hard. His own voice rough. Neither can I. For a moment, the world outside did not exist. There was no war, no ruins, no hunters, only the two of them. Staring into each other's eyes, the fire burned low. Shadows danced across their faces. Their hands stayed close, neither pulling away. And in that fragile silence, something unspoken became real. She leaned closer, her forehead almost touching his. Her eyes closed, her whisper came again, softer than ever before. Look at me, human, and do not look away. The soldier did not move, did not speak. He only breathed, his heart pounding in the quiet. In that hidden chamber, surrounded by darkness and ruin, two enemies found something more powerful than war, something they could not name but could not deny. The choice of loyalty. The fire had died down to faint embers. The soldier sat against the wall, his eyes half closed. The alien warrior rested near him, her blade close by, her head leaned slightly, almost brushing his shoulder. Neither had spoken for some time, but the silence was no longer empty. It carried something alive, something unspoken. Then the sound came, a distant rumble, low and steady. The ground trembled under their feet. The soldier's eyes snapped open. The warrior straightened, her glowing gaze narrowing. The sound grew louder, closer, marching boots and heavy engines. The war was returning to the ruins. The soldier rose, gripping his weapon tight. He looked to the warrior. She was already standing, though her wounds made her sway slightly. Her jaw tightened, her eyes hard. They are here, she whispered. He nodded, his chest felt heavy. His people were coming. He should feel relief, he should feel safe. Yet his stomach twisted because he knew what it meant. They would take her or kill her, and he would be expected to watch. The warrior's eyes flickered. She too understood. She looked toward the sound, then back at him. And mine will come too, she said. They will not forgive me if they find me with you. The air grew heavy between them. The soldier's heart pounded. He could already see figures moving in the distance, shadows of his kind, armored and armed. Marching through the ruins on the other side, lights began to glow. Alien reinforcements moving closer. The ruins would soon be a battlefield again. The warrior turned, her voice sharp but trembling. When they come, you must leave me, human. If they see us together, you will die. He stared at her. His jaw tight, his voice came steady. I can't. Her eyes widened. You are a fool, she hissed. Your kind will call you traitor. My kind will call me dishonored. There is no place for us in their eyes. He stepped closer. His voice low but fierce. I don't care. She froze. Her hand trembled against the hilt of her blade. Her eyes locked with his. For a long moment she said nothing, then she whispered, almost broken. Look at me, human, he did. His eyes steady on hers. Around them the sound of marching grew louder. Soldiers shouting, weapons loading. The armies were closing in. The soldier clenched his fist, his thoughts raced. If he rejoined his people, she would die. If she rejoined hers, he would die. There was no middle ground, only choice. The warrior's voice cracked, her strength faltering for the first time. Go, she whispered. Live. Forget me. But he shook his head. His answer was final. No. The ruins shook as the first soldiers appeared. Human troops in armored gear swept through the rubble. Weapons raised. They froze when they saw him, standing in the broken chamber. And beside him, the alien warrior. Shouts rang out. Step away from her, one commander yelled. She's the enemy. At the same time, alien voices echoed from the far side. Her soldiers appeared, their glowing weapons aimed. Their commander shouted, Leave him, warrior, come back to us. He is nothing. The soldier raised his weapon. His chest tight, his voice cut through the chaos. If you want her, you'll go through me. The human soldiers gasped, confusion and anger flashing across their faces. The alien soldiers shouted, their weapons humming with power. The world seemed to stop for a moment. The warrior looked at him, her eyes wide. Her breath caught in her throat. Slowly, she stepped closer. Her hand brushing his arm, she whispered, You would stand against your own for me. He nodded. His voice calm, yes, her eyes glistened. Though no tears fell, her lips trembled as she whispered again, softer than ever. Then I will not leave you. Human, the ruins became a storm of tension. Two armies facing each other, weapons raised, ready to kill. But in the center stood the soldier and the alien warrior. Side by side, their bond stronger than fear. The silence broke when the warrior lifted her chin. Her voice rang clear, proud. This human saved me. He fought for me. If you kill him, you kill my honor. And I will not allow it, her soldiers froze. Shocked by her words, the human army hesitated. Their eyes on the soldier who had turned his weapon not on the alien, but on them for one fragile moment. The war paused, held back by two souls who chose each other over duty. The soldier's heart pounded. His eyes locked on hers, he whispered. No matter what happens, I won't look away, and she whispered back, fierce and soft. Then neither will I. The ruins burned with tension. The next choice would decide everything. Beyond the war, the ruins stood frozen between two armies. Human soldiers on one side, alien warriors on the other. Their weapons glowed, their voices shouted. But no one moved. At the center, the soldier and the alien warrior stood side by side, bound by a choice that neither army could understand. The soldier's heart pounded, his weapon was steady, but his hands trembled from the weight of his decision. His people glared at him with anger and disbelief. The alien warrior stared at her with shock and confusion. The silence was sharper than blades. Then the human commander stepped forward. His voice loud, Step away from her, soldier. You are sworn to us, not to the enemy. At the same time, the alien commander shouted, Warrior, return to your people. Do not shame us further. The alien warrior lifted her chin. Her voice was steady, though her wound still bled. I will not leave him, she said. Her words rang through the ruins, shaking both armies. He saved me, he fought for me. He chose me when he could have killed me. Gasps spread among her soldiers. Whispers among the humans, the commander's face twisted in fury. You betray your kind for an enemy, he roared. But she did not look at him. Her eyes were only on the soldier beside her. Her voice softened. Look at me, human. He turned his gaze, meeting hers in that moment. The war around them faded, his voice came steady. I'm here. The human soldiers raised their rifles. Ready to fire, the alien warriors lifted their glowing weapons. A single spark could have started a massacre. Then the soldier lowered his weapon. His voice was calm but strong. If you kill her, you kill me too. The words cut like thunder. His comrades hesitated. Their rifles shook in their hands. The alien warriors froze, their eyes wide. The commander snarled, You are a traitor. But the alien warrior stepped forward. Her blade raised high. No, she shouted. He is more loyal than any of you. He fights not for orders, but for choice. And I stand with him." The ruins shook with her voice. Both armies hesitated. For the first time, neither side fired. The soldier's chest tightened. He did not know how long this fragile moment would last. But he knew one thing. Something had changed. The world had changed. Slowly, he reached for her hand. His fingers brushed hers. She gripped him firmly. Their hands locked together in defiance. Whispers spread through both armies. Some called it madness, some called it weakness, but others saw something different. A human and an alien standing together, not as enemies, but as something new. The human commander raised his weapon again, ready to end it. But before he could fire, one of his own soldiers stepped forward. Lowering his rifle, his voice trembled. Maybe he's right. Another alien warrior lowered her weapon. If she stands with him, then he cannot be our enemy. Like a ripple in water. More weapons lowered, hesitation spreading. The commanders shouted in rage, but the soldiers no longer moved in perfect obedience. Something unbreakable had been born. The alien warrior leaned close, her voice soft so only he could hear. "You changed them," he shook his head. "No, we changed them." Her eyes glistened. She whispered one last time. "Then promise me, human, whatever comes. Never look away." He squeezed her hand, his voice firm. Never. The ruins no longer felt like a grave. They felt like the beginning of something greater. The war was not over, but in that moment, peace had taken its first breath. The human soldier and the alien warrior stood in the center of two silent armies. Their hands locked, their gazes fixed, and though the world around them trembled, neither looked away.